Merry Christmas. I know it seems early, but you know how it always sneaks up on us. And Teresa has been working many, many weeks on creating some wonderful Christmas projects, and we're beginning today
with our first week of Webisodes day.
Yes.
And this one's all about our Christmas inside-out die-cut cards and matching stamps.
Right, and wait till you see the wonderful things Teresa has done. Come play with us. Well, here is the collection.
Right. Now, our first inside-out cards were a flower, a butterfly, and
a label.
That's right.
Well, now we're going to an ornament, a poinsettia, and a snowflake. And for the first time ever, we have a stamp collection. Now, the stamps can be used separately, but they're also designed to fit perfectly on the cards.
So they look a little different when you see them over here, but they work perfectly in conjunction with these inside-out cards. Now, let's start with our inside-out ornament card.
Let's do that first. And as you've come to expect, the packaging, well, first of all, the packaging has an idea. It also has 4 cards and 4 envelopes. And on the back side, you're going to see the paper pattern.
Right, so this is perfect for easily tracing and then cutting out papers for your card.
And that's where that particular pattern goes, should you want to use it.
Right.
And the directions are right here, but let me just walk you through, okay?
Let's do that.
So you're going to get 4 cards like this, they're already folded, and you're going to get 4 pieces like this that are die cut. So the directions tell us to open this flat and then to gently pop out the pieces that are die cut. Now,
so one part of it is hinged. It will only pop out halfway, and then the center part is an entire die cut, which gives you an extra piece, an extra ornament that you can use to embellish your card.
And that's going to come out just exactly as you see.
So it has tiny little nubs, and we're making sure that we're not ripping the card, that we just pop it out on those little nubs very simply.
So I'm going to take that and set it aside. Then I'm going to, and there are score lines right at the top and the bottom, and I'm going to fold that back and see what happens.
So those are scored right in the center of the front panel of your card, and then you've got this great interactive card.
And that's why you want to pop that out and remove this piece so that when you fold it, everything is going to work properly.
Right. And the other pieces that you're looking at here, these are the other die cut pieces that you can just pop out. And you have, first of all, a frame that we might be able to use elsewhere. And then you have more die cut pieces. So what I like about the die cuts is that you get 3 in this part here, but then you have that extra one. You just continue, and this one is like a little label that actually, if you turned it sideways, it might be another ornament. So, there you go.
And you can see all of them are shown right there. And then what we give here are the directions to duplicate the card on the front. So since Teresa's done some different ones, we're going to be showing Teresa's. So there we go. The inside out is just so much fun. Okay, so to begin with the ornament, look at this stunning piece.
That is beautiful.
Wow.
And this is done, I love all of the white that's been left.
I do too.
So the paper patterns were not used for this because that white is just so striking. And you've got on the front of it, you've got a die cut piece that has been foam taped up, and then the die cuts on the center were treated with mega flakes.
And we've got actually a mega flake and a gilding flake, so 2 different companies and 2 different colors. This is the first time, I think, the first time I've seen different ones used on the same project. And very, very pretty. Now this is that little one that you talked about. You could turn it sideways, be a label, or turn it vertically and be another ornament as it layers.
That was stamped and embossed to go right in the center. And then instead of having papers on it, you've got these border dazzles. And as you open it up, it's on all panels of your card, so it just continues across. So that's a great look.
Very pretty.
I've got that ornament that's in the center, right in the back, and I've got flitter glue, which is made specifically to use with the mega flakes. And I'm going to put a little puddle of it here just to make it easy to get to, just a little bit. I've got a cosmetic wedge here, and I'm just going to sort of use that and get it all over that ornament. So all you have to do is get glue all over this, and then you're going to apply the Mega Flake. So when I've got a nice little coating of it there, really simple, I'm going to move it onto my craft sheet. And then I have the Mega Flakes, and this one is Autumn Blaze. Comes in a container like this with lots of little Mega Flake little pieces, lots of different colors.
It has a lot of
in there.
copper as well as the gold in it. Just really, really
you
striking.
You just take some of that out, and I sort of like to press it into that glue first so it will stick in place, and you can always pick some of it up and move it around to make sure it's covered all over. Once I made sure that it's sticking to that glue all over by sort of burnishing it a little bit with my finger, getting some of the excess off, then I move to what's called a scoochy sponge, and I start really burnishing it to remove it from the edges, and that does the detail work for me.
And because it's such a variegated, every single piece is going to be slightly different.
Right, you're going to get a different look.
Yeah, that's really fun. Now, all these bits that you're seeing, all of those are reusable, and that's why I love this so much, is because it's all going to be used. You're not going to waste anything.
Right, you're going to save all of that, and I do continue to burnish until I get a pretty flat look on there. But I don't want to overdo it for you here on camera, but anyway, you can see
there
that
you go, right on
shimmer.
there. So that's what Teresa has done there. This piece is just white, as you said. It was stamped and embossed. We've got some dazzles there. The one on the outside is using a different, this is called, let's see,
Sunshine Speckle, I think, or Sunlight Speckle.
And
maybe.
this has got the gold, but it has silver. So the center one has more of the copper and gold, the outside silver and gold. Just a really stunning, stunning card.
Beautiful.
Pretty easy to do too. As we get in close, I just want to talk to you about these dazzles. Copper as well as gold, really picking up the colors that Teresa has chosen on her card. So nice to know that you don't have to do the paper patterns unless you want to. Here is another card also using the ornament. Now this time, Teresa took advantage of the fact that this is a window card, and you can see that she used paper all over the front and put the heat-resistant acetate in between the paper and the front.
Now she stamped on that heat-resistant acetate with a surfaces inks. There's a couple of different ones. I think there's a berry and a dolphin, I think are those colors. Check the gallery to be sure on that.
And this is what she has used.
Right, so you've got that, there's that outer ornament with leaves, that large area right in the center. So I went ahead and did that. I stamped on acetate. Now see, it doesn't really matter how you cut it around the outside as long as it fits on the front of your card. As for the front of your card, she said she wanted to make sure that she covered the entire piece with paper. She wanted it glued on there, but she wanted to put the acetate between the paper and the front of her card. So she started by using repositional glue. So these are Easy Dots repositional, and she just placed that on the front of her card because this makes it easy to set down paper and then remove it again if you need to move it around.
Because you're going to need to cut out that center window of the paper.
Of the paper, that's right. So she placed a piece of paper right on there, and this is from the Roses and Lace paper pack. She placed that on there. She cut around the edges, she cut around the center, and then because it's repositional, you can remove that piece that you cut, and you can set your acetate in place right on the center of that window. And I cut it to make sure that it would set in between there. And then after that piece was cut, she put it back on there.
With regular glue.
With regular glue or tape, right.
Now she also used, I think it's really fun to see the different colors and the pinks on this. She also accented it with the lace tape. And this is self-adhesive, and you can see she's used it on the border there, right along the fold. And just
really
very
cute
pretty.
Look. I love the button and the whole the embroidery
with the ribbon.
And
then on the inside, she used one of the other die cuts with some stamping. Just placed it, did a little bit of silver embroidery floss there, and that is her card. So just a really sweet, sweet look and a fun thing to see. Now, you've seen the ornament. Now we're going to go to the poinsettia, and the poinsettia is going to be done exactly the same way.
Right.
So you're going to have the die cut set, and that's got 3 of the poinsettias on it. Here is the full one. You would do the same thing, pop that out, and then fold it back, and then you're going to have...
And there's your card. There's your inside-out card.
And same thing, simple. Paper pattern. There are the pieces that are going to be on this sheet, and you have that 4 times. Then there's also the instructions for the card that's on the front. But Teresa has done some different things, and she first used the stamp.
Right.
And as you can see, this stamp is one large piece, and it's going to fit perfectly,
okay,
as you can see.
Now I have to show you that that one large piece that you're talking about was used on the inside. So this is one of the die cuts. So use that large stamp right on the inside.
Okay.
On the outside, it's a little different. I'm going to show you first that I have some of the die cuts. I'm going to pop them out separately. And if you look on that stamp set, there are separate pieces
right there
for smaller areas. And what she did is she used those smaller pieces to stamp around the outer edges.
And we did that because to do a large stamp that would be this size might be a little tricky to position. So the feeling was to do it in pieces so you can just stamp right around the different size of the scallops of that poinsettia.
She used a mini distress ink set. Here they are. There's 4 of them. This is the set number 2. But really, she wanted that fired brick red, which
she loves it
perfectly. Yeah, she
loves
really
it.
likes this color. It's a nice, vivid color. And so if you work with one of these pieces at a time, you'll just ink one of these up, and it sort of gives a kind of a textured look, which she liked that too. And because they're clear, the great part is you can look right through and just center them over and just do them individually. So she did the larger pieces like that, went all the way around, and then you've got the smaller points of the poinsettia, and you do those as well. And that's what you do, just going all the way around the die cut like so.
Right.
So it ends up looking like that.
And ends up looking like that as they're layered together. So you get both of them. And this little corner treatment, of course, is also one of the stamps. There it is right there. So you can use that. And there we're going to...
For a beautiful look. Now that red that you're seeing here, she just took the ink pad and went directly to the cardstock.
And did the coloring of it, right. So her reds match. And then she used the smallest one right there.
Right
so
in the
that
center.
Works perfectly. And you can
Beautiful.
See that stamp is right there to go right on the paper.
And that goes inside it. Let's see, where's that die cut? Wait a second. There. So what she did for the centerpiece was she actually popped out that center flower. Remember, she did her stamping with the large stamp on there, and then, so that's what you're seeing there, and then she stamped in the center of it to get that piece there.
It's on the dot paper, so that worked beautifully. So very, very nice. And another poinsettia that she did is right here. In fact, we have a couple more. Now this time she left the top one only with the pearls on it. So it's foam taped onto the front.
Right.
And let me open this up.
Open it up.
Wow, she has done some embossing.
Right, so she used an embossing folder. This was a 6 by 6 inch embossing folder because she wanted to be able to get all the way to the edge. Now, I have something that I've embossed here on one of our hot off the press embossing folders, so it's not quite as wide as that one. You could still do it this way, but it would you leave like a border at the top and the bottom because this is a little bit smaller. But I did like that look of embossing, just placing your embossing folder on the back half of the card and running it through the machine that way.
Right. Now this is also shiny. It has almost feels like an extra layer of something on it.
Because it's been treated with Inca Gold, and this is that pink Inca Gold.
Ooh.
That's not the name of it. I don't think it's pink, but it is a pink color. I can't remember the exact color name. Rose quartz, that's what it is. And she used, and I have it right here.
Cosmetic sponge.
Well,
Is that what you're looking for?
She had a round, there it is, it rolled away because
Okay.
it's round. See, it does that. And it's a round mini blending tool, and it's flat on the end here. So you don't want to put your fingers in the Inca Gold, so you can use this sponge to pick up what you need, and then just go on.
And the reason
top.
you don't want to put your fingers into it is because your fingers will contaminate it. So you want to put a tool into it to get it out, or scoop it onto your craft sheet.
And that's what she did, and she just started inking the piece like that.
So that's why it's on the top. I see white underneath.
And I noticed that the embossing piece that she used, there's a lot more raised than with this one. There's a lot more white in between. So what you're seeing,
well, it's
on
getting
that
close
one,
to what you've done. Okay, so you can see. And
there you go.
Okay, and what she had was an embossing where, as you said, there are more raised areas, but that has the pink Inca Gold on it, so really, really pretty.
And she also put some of that Inca Gold on the front of the card, so there's a strip there that's just straight pink, and that's straight from the Inca Gold.
Right, so her pattern paper is here, and then she did cover that inner piece with pattern paper, and she stamped on the smaller one, foam taped that in place. Also foam taped the poinsettia that is on as an extra piece onto the front.
I like that she took the entire card and matted the back panel on a piece of cardstock.
Oh, she did.
You can see that matting all the way around.
Oh, so it just made it a little bit bigger, but it's still going to fit into the envelope, I believe.
Right.
So there we go. Just a beautiful.
It's a great look.
Yeah, it's a very great look. Now, for some shimmer and shine, look at what the woman has done.
She is using here two different things. On the center, what you're seeing in the back is sparkle texture paste.
There it is.
And that is, it looks like this. It's called Pink Blush Sparkle Texture
Now, we
Paste.
would normally think of using this with a stencil, but Teresa decided to just spread it onto the die cut, or you could also spread it onto a piece of paper.
Well, I'll tell you what she did. Not so much on the die cut, because we don't have one big die cut. That's all. What she used was the frame that held the die cut.
Made her own stencil, did she?
Made her own stencil. So she placed that on cardstock like so, and she just used a palette knife. And we have a new set of palette knives here. We have a set that has several different knives in this set, and she just, you can stencil tape that in place. I'm just going to do this real quickly though, and then go across it just like that and spread your embossing paste.
Wow, and then let it dry.
Then let it dry, and anyway.
And then you would cut it out.
Right, I would do it all the way across, take some time and get it nice and straight, but it's a beautiful look when you're all done.
Yes,
once it dries, let it dry.
She's really in the pink zone with this right now, isn't she?
A pink Christmas.
And you can see that the top piece is paper. So she has simply, right.
So she's covered the die cut with paper, but she also went over it with a Wink of Stella, and this is the clear brush. It has a brush tip. It's very sparkly, and she just went over the top of that die cut to give it a nice extra little bit of shine.
So we have sparkle on sparkle, and John is looking at me puzzled. He's trying to get in close, but his controller is not behaving. So, okay, you're going to try something else, and that's not working either.
There we go. We're doing it on our own. See,
there we
go.
That
shimmer.
Yeah, just really pretty. And you can see that she covered the front left panel, used the pattern, and then the inside is the same paper. She's got the pink border dazzles along the edge. Really, really pretty. And on the inside there, she has used the tiny Christmas word dazzles.
I love that. There's a whole passel of them on there.
There's a whole passel. There is exactly 75 in that passel.
So they'll go a long ways.
Very, very pretty. Now we're going to go into the snowflake. And the snowflake, guess what? Is going to be the same type of procedure.
The same idea. There are 4 cards. You get the die cuts, and you get 4 envelopes that will fit those cards.
And you open it up gently pop out the die cuts, all of them. So you've got
Right.
that outer one.
And then they are scored right in the center of that
Right.
front panel so that they will fold and create
Go like
the same
that.
sort of interactive card
And
like
you
you're seeing.
have all those die cuts.
Those
You want
great
to turn
die
that package
cuts.
over?
And yeah, there's also that idea on the
Mm-hmm.
front, like we always tell you, and then on the back is the paper pattern. So you've got this panel that works on the left side of your card. You've got the pattern layout, shows you how to do that, and all of the die cuts and instructions.
And so, and we
Okay.
said envelopes too, right?
We did say envelopes.
So now
Yeah.
Teresa felt that this could really
look at that.
open a little differently, and she felt that it just looked like a window to her, and I think the woman is right. So
I agree.
We'll get in a little bit closer
And
just so
there
you
is
can
something
see.
unique about this window. If you open it up a little bit, you can see what is suspended in the window is a small snowflake. Now,
Right.
on the die cuts, you will see right in the center, there is that small die cut right in the center, but you only get one of those. Now, she has a double-sided one in her little card.
Because she put the
Well,
embroidery floss
Right,
in between the two.
Now you can sort of steal this from one of your other cards.
You could.
But if you don't want to, then she suggested placing it on the frame here, tracing around it, and then you can cut out another one if you need it.
Okay.
Now there's not every situation that will use every one of these in every one of your cards, so I would probably just use another one from another card, but that's
Could be.
another option for you if you need it.
Okay, I love the colors of this, the silver and the gold.
Right.
And what she used with it were the White Christmas Dazzles. Now, these do not have a paper pack because being the colors they are, the silver with the gold
gold.
foil and the blue, she just really felt that they worked beautifully here
Right.
also. So
agree.
Season's Greetings comes from there,
Right.
as does this, as does the border.
And so isn't that beautiful? Plus you've got these little strips here. Do you see that strips
Oh.
of silver? That's actually from the edge of the
Yes.
Dazzles package right
So,
there.
you know, you can use every little tiny piece of this.
And the silver that you're seeing on that front die cut is from the silver Wink of Stella pen. So you've
Ah.
got that silver, it's in a brush just like the other one. You just brush it on. She actually put a double layer. So let it dry and then put another layer on and you've got that great silver sparkle.
Very pretty. Just a very rich looking. I love the window. I think that's really fun. So, and it's great that it opens differently too.
Right.
That's great. You can see
So another
snowflakes are winter's butterflies.
Oh, that's a great scrapbooking
Yeah.
set. It's kind of hard to see just looking at the front like that, but it's just loaded with lots of beautiful winter images.
Now, what about the stamp, you might
Okay.
be saying? Well, here it is.
There it
and
is.
yes, and this too is put together with different colors of inks.
But this one has sort of a little surprise too.
It does.
So we'll open.
She has turned it into a, ooh, wow.
It's a double gatefold card, and
It
that's because
is.
she used two of the cards. So you've got your two cards here. You're going to pop out one side, like so, and fold it. Let's see, I'm going to turn it this way, the way you have been doing it. You fold it here, and you fold it back here. So now here's one side of your card, which she said for this card in particular, she left that center die cut intact, and she covered over the entire piece with paper.
Oh, okay. So this blue that you see down here,
Right.
that's the paper.
Right,
Okay.
the paper going all the way over. Now for the other side, you're going to turn it around this way. And she actually cut it off just to make a tab. Either way, you could do that, or you could just glue these panels together.
Sure.
And then when you fold in this side, it's going to be like so. On this side,
Oh, and it nests
right,
in.
that's right. This side she did pop out that center piece. So then when you fold it, it's going to close like that and like that,
Wow.
sort of on top of each other.
Okay, so here it is. Yeah, there you go. As a finish, so we'll do the same thing. So you can see how they're connected in the back, and this one goes in, and that one goes on top. Very fun.
I have to pop out one of these because I have
Okay.
to show you one other really interesting thing about that card. When you pop out the die cuts and you have that frame, which she's already used the frame for a couple of different things, one being a stencil. If you open up this card entirely, go ahead and open it up, then you set this right here. It gives you a pattern for stamping,
Right.
because all of these are stamped individually, each one of these little pieces. So stamp away and then remove that, and it's a perfect guide.
And so there is one of the stamps right,
Right.
there to go around.
There's one, and then one of them is right here.
and that's the one that she used as a corner. But
Right.
actually, those two are going to make your snowflake.
So they were done on the die cut on the front. They
Right.
were used on that center.
Oh, that's
piece
excellent
there.
to use that as a stencil.
Right. And then I love that it's only on one half of this,
Yeah.
because you don't really need it on the right half. You're getting it with that on the top. So that's just a great
It's very
piece.
fun, and she's got the jewel dazzles and the silver border dazzles, and the paper set that she used is the 6x6 Fresh Frost. So that gives you all of those frosty colors to be using. Now, our final card is a real showstopper. Look at this. And it is shiny, and we'll get in closer just so you can really
Just
see
beautiful.
that.
You know, it's funny to me that one of the things that Teresa said is, she says, I'm not really a big fan of glitter, but I like how this one turned out. Well,
Yeah.
I should say so.
It's just
It is
beautiful.
And there's a couple of different ways of getting that glitter.
And,
Go
and
ahead.
I just want to say, none of this glitter is rubbing off.
Right.
So she has found a secret that she's sharing with
So
us.
two things. There's crystal micro glitter, but there are also glittered acetate sheets.
Right, and the stencil that you used on the
Right.
base is this snowfall. And the glitter sheets are these. There are 5 sheets, I believe, in
Right.
here.
So that glitter is embedded within there, and it does not come off.
And it's
just
self-adhesive.
beautiful.
So it's going to go on top of
Right.
the
You know, I'm going to need to walk you through this
Okay.
a little bit, because there are several steps involved with this one. You've got your card here, your card base, that if you were to pop this out, you were to fold these, then the card is going to fold like that. But we're going to start with it laying out flat like this, and I did remove that center die cut. And then you take your snowfall stencil, and I did it on this half already. You place it, and then you put your inks right through it. Then you just move it over and you do it again. There are 3 distress inks: tumbled glass, bundled sage, and shaded lilac. And I love these little what do you
Finger
call them?
daubers.
Finger daubers, that's right, art daubers. And you just stick your finger on there and you just start going through. And go through in different areas, and then when you change colors, they will meet and sort of blend together. So if I changed from there to the shaded lilac.
And I love the idea of using lilac on
Oh
snowflakes.
yeah, this is lilac and green even, but so the edges just sort of blend together. And then you just do that all over. Then you remove your stencil, and you've got this beautiful base. And so let me put these away, because that's one thing.
Right.
But then once you have that, you're going to cover those over with the glittered acetate, and you can just cut a piece and place it right on top of that. It's clear, it's double-sided, it's not double-sided.
Single-sided.
Single-sided, but it does have that adhesive on the back, and you just peel up the top, trying to use my fingers and there we go. So when you peel it up, you can see through it, and it goes right on top.
And it's just that glittery.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful. You can see that through
Right.
there very nicely. But then there's that die cut piece on the front.
Right, so that's the, if you can kind of look through this and look at all of the snowflakes that were inked and then covered with the clear glitter acetate.
Right.
Now you're going to talk about
Now
the one
we're
on
gonna do
top?
something a little bit different. We've got that piece.
Of course
on
we
top.
are.
So we've got one of the die cuts. We've got micro glitter and crystal lacquer. And she started by actually brushing crystal lacquer onto it. I'm going to put a little bit of it right on the center. Oh, I have this all ready to go. Come on out. It doesn't want to come out.
Okay.
A little bit of it. I said that's more than I wanted, but we'll just brush it off.
It
We
never
don't
listens
need
to
it.
me either.
That's why I have a craft sheet. So a nice thin layer really of the crystal lacquer is all you need.
And a beautifully gilded fingernail too, I might point out.
Yeah, I might do that to all my fingers later on, or not. Then you've got some place to put your micro glitter on, and it goes on there so nicely. It's just going to stick on there. I don't need to burnish it on with my finger. I don't want to do that
Right.
because that's crystal lacquer on there, but I will tap it off a little bit. And there it is.
And what Teresa shares is that it will really stick to the crystal lacquer, and it's not going to move on you.
Right. Once it's dry, wait for it to dry.
Yeah, so that's what she's done on the die cut piece. And you can see that she foam taped that onto the area on the front of her card. Now the one here, she did blue underneath it and did some stamping. So that's all good to go. And you can see.
Just beautiful. She did mention
just gorgeous.
That while these are, they are adhesive backed rhinestones on there, she said she actually had to use glue, or you can use crystal lacquer to glue those in place because they didn't want to stick to the glitter otherwise.
Right. So today we have shown you Snowflake inside-out cards, Poinsettia inside-out cards, and Ornament inside-out cards, along with the stamp that coordinates perfectly with all of it.
Matching stamp set. They're just beautiful. They are so much fun.
So if this gorgeousness is day one, imagine what the rest of the week's going to be. Please join us tomorrow.
See you then.